do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then they hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'll show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'll show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal after done. Shooters gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I fall. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah. All these thoughts keep me up at night, yeah. What am I doing, did I do it right, yeah. All these thoughts keep me up at night, yeah. Can't stay in the light, I need to breathe. Get me up at night, it's on my feet. Another cup of coffee and me, that's what I need. My eyes puffy, I can't see. I'm too tired to function, but too lost to sleep. Hey, I think I need to be on some medication. I think I need to figure out the segregation. I think I need it just a better education. To understand the world that's so complicated. Intoxicated, every night faded. Just so I can sleep, thinking that it's hated. I feel hated, I feel hatred. I'm lost deep in my mind that I created. I have dreams when my life is devastated. Feel so real that I wake up shaking. Need thicker skin cause this life is no haven. Out your head if you get what I'm saying. All these thoughts keep me up at night, yeah. What am I doing, did I do it right, yeah. All these thoughts keep me up at night, yeah. I can't think straight, need the light, yo. All these thoughts keep me up at night, yeah. What am I doing, did I do it right, yeah. All these thoughts keep me up at night, yeah. I can't think straight, need the light. I really think I understand this world now. Got my head spinning round in a circle. Everybody lacks what they need internal, so they compensate with everything external. Not trying to throw shade, no way. I'm just trying to find the meaning of life, hey. There's happiness if you try to live the right way. Forget about what others have and live your life, hey. Be aware of who you are, what you're good at. Take a step forward, see where your foot's at. Stand tall, stand proud, talk loud. Every word out your mouth has purpose now. You just gotta get rid of the bad thoughts. Hating others cause you know that they got a lot. Forget that though, you got plenty, you're alive in this life. You got time, go get it. All these thoughts keep me up at night, yeah. What am I doing, did I do it right, yeah. All these thoughts keep me up at night, yeah. I can't think straight, need the light, oh. All these thoughts keep me up at night, yeah. What am I doing, did I do it right, yeah. All these thoughts keep me up at night. already know. Get the fuck out of my face, yeah, yeah, you gotta go. Man, I'm on the chase, yeah, leave me on my own. I got a chance to break now, yeah, I fucking go. Take control of fate now, I control the flow. And I know that I'll be great, how putting on a show. I know that I'ma stay loud, drowning out the noise. The haters always
Pagi.
thinking that they could fucking break me. They're better off eating their own words.
Merinding.
Pastries hate me, and you better find some fucking safety. I'm coming in, I like a bad bitch and pasties. They can't save me, no, I ain't lazy, no. But society has me going so crazy, no. Don't blame me, no, my mind's hazy, no. And I'm sick of feeling this way daily. Always live my life till it's over, and I will not forgive those who hold me down. And I will never give up, I'm moving forward. And I will never miss my chance, take it now. You got one life, so live it right. Keep your friends tight and your family in sight. Never cease to fight for the things you think are right, 'cause you just might find you control your own mind, hey. You'll be fine, hey. Just take your time, hey. Enjoy the climb, hey. Enjoy the grind, hey. You never really know what's on the other side till you give that shit a try. Know the limit is the sky, hey. Make them take it back what they said about you. Every time they doubt you, make that shit about you. Forget about the clout, yo. Put the word of mouth, yo. Keep your head down, yo. Work until you found, yo. Fight until you make it, yo. Don't think it, no, just take it. Don't wait for someone to break it. Take control and don't just take it, hey. You can make it happen, you just gotta take some action. Take the ship and be the captain. Head on out and don't look back, yeah. I will always live my life till it's over, and I will not forgive those who hold me down. And I will never give up, I'm moving forward. And I will never miss my chance, take it now. All day and all night, we'd stay up, it felt so right. We were so young, we were so dumb. We would get drunk and then hook up. We were okay, we were alright. Staying awake till the sunrise. We were in love, couldn't stop us. Like a good drug, never enough. We hook up in my car, driving so far. Play the guitar, you show me your heart. Let down our guards, think with our hearts. Stare at the stars, we were never apart. Drinking too young, way too much fun.
Staff tenda, goblok. Pagi-pagi nggak fokus. Enggak lah, sarapan nanti jam 10-an.
Let's go. I ain't the first with the curse, with the thirst that I wanna be better, not worse, man it hurts. I'm on this earth with my words and I put them all together, insert, cause I wanna have worth. Working hella hard till they put me in the dirt. Gonna go far, man, listen to my words. Gonna be a star, man, life's like a blur. When you're working this hard till you get what you deserve. Yeah, I ain't taking a backseat, I'm passing anybody else who is rapping, I'm nasty. Ain't nobody able to catch me, they gasping. They cannot compare, they can't match me, I'm at half speed. I got your girl and she laughing and dancing, hanging on my butt, she asking to crash with me. Smash with me, she savage, she wants cash money, and she knows how to live lavishly. I wanna live, I'm cold inside. Give all I have just to feel alive. I fight to live, I fight to strive. One day I'll have what I want. I want the whole world in the palm of my hand. I got a plan, I'm the man, now I'm teaching the game. A veteran, better than anybody else who tests me. I'm ready, looking in my hand and it's steady. I'm trending, ascending and blending, lyrical bending. Now I'm spreading and getting my name out now. Yeah, they hear me laugh, all the crowds repping the sound. I'm hitting the ground, running, up and coming, ain't nothing. Yeah, rookie of the year, I'ma keep it 100. Cold-blooded, no budget, from nothing to something. I ain't bluffing, I got a full hand and a full plan. I ain't gonna stop till I'm at the top, man. Every single drop got me feeling awesome. I'm about to pop, started from the bottom, yeah. I wanna live, I'm cold inside. give all I have just to feel alive. I fight to live, I fight to strive. One day I'll have what I want in life. Yeah. Everybody knows that I'm breaking down. Everybody knows I'm faking now. Everybody knows my heart's faking now. Yeah, she hates me now, mistakes me now. I don't ever wanna be alone. I don't really ever feel at home. On my own, in the zone. That's the only way I know. Feeling low, about to blow back up. I won't ever let the doubt creep in. Gotta up a couple more aspirin. I don't think I'll ever let you in. Easier to break it off best friends. I don't really understand myself. I don't really understand, need help. I don't wanna be left on the shelf. Couldn't even hear me if I yelled. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. Let's go. I don't wanna break down. Always feel like I could break now, but I never let it take me to that place now. I won't ever let my thoughts get away now. I got better things to do, thinking fake now. I just wanna be the best, call me great now. I don't know if I'm okay or insane now. I remember better days on the playground, but I can find my way even when I'm feeling down. I fight, even when I don't know what is right. I'ma pick a side and I'ma take pride. I will decide my fate and die. Will never let them tell me who I am. If you try to shake me, I'll be damned. Landed on the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside. I'm alone, I'm alright. I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I'll make mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'll go get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning. These ladies know that I'm sinning, and this is just the beginning. I'm closing in the night inning. There ain't no point in resisting. Living life like a dream, live it right, that's the thing. Every night got a team, I've been tied to the scene. Out on stage, here on screen. Okay, it's a dream, and I pray as a team. One day it'll be me. If I want it, then I get it. Head down, don't regret it. Push myself to the limit. If I play it, then I win it. I'm just saying, I'm just living for today. For a minute, I don't stay, I just visit. Have no shame, I admit it. Looking to see if I'm so easy. To see if I'm believe. They're looking up to me. They want the best of me now. Best of me now. Best of me now. Best of me. They want the best of me now. Best of me now. Best of me now. Best of me.
Yang sedang kita itu susah. satu track. Temen gua habis sekitar 800 B. Apanya? Crash Landon bisa. Ada satu step di bawah Crash Landon yang nggak bisa pecah, turun dong rate. Splendid udah sekitar 14 kali 14. Pilot itu jam segini soalnya tsunami
We're advanced, I'm the man. Got a plan better than most players. Goddamn, I'm
captain, just happening. I'm raising my status, facing the madness. I'm out gaining traction, avoiding the distractions. I'm snapping, no captions, attracting reactions, adapting, attacking, commanding the masses. I'm practicing habits, I don't fucking ask this, I just fucking grab it. I am never static, massively active, expanding, backslid, planning to have it. So I will go capture it, and I'ma stay after it. I'm gonna fucking master it, put them on blast it. They will never last it, don't be so dramatic. Not my demographic, this shit is democratic. They phone effects, yeah, bitch.
Bisa atas dapat, kalau dapat berapa? Di normal monster dapat, di deki aja nggak dapat. Gue nggak tahu per hournya berapa. Spot bawah bisa. Iya. Spot atas juga bisa, taruhnya di gerbang.
our time to shine. Yo, that's the kind of state of mind you gotta combine with hard work and time. You gotta climb to the top. Don't let yourself drop till your heart stops. Let this beat rock. Got a new clock and a new stock for this new rock. Just let your mind loose from the new stuff. Drunk off the goose, thinking that I'm too tough. Getting caught with a few thoughts. I'm about to boss. Speakers can't even handle me. Even what I got, nobody will bring my energy, and I will never stop. I'm motivated by enemies, setting up shop so everybody remember me. And no, I am not going through life regretfully. I'd rather work non-stop. What they call incessantly than work some hard job just to live life pleasantly. Already got lost in my mind, not a fantasy. I'm getting it. Forgotten souls, so stop, drop, and roll. You lost all control and pop out your ball. I got one, I'm more, I'm not bought. I'm sold, my stock box is gone. Hey, knock, knock, she holding shit, toxic clothes. I ain't stopping, always hip-hop, you know. Or is it rock and roll? I'm not dropping, don't know I'm pocket strong. You can't stop the show, you can't rock it all. So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never know I'm taking that crown from you. I ain't worried about you, I ain't never. So let me break it all down for you. I ain't never giving up, I ain't never know I'm taking that crown from you. I ain't worried about you, I ain't never let you down. I ain't never slowing down, keep on going till I'm down. No, I'm never slowing down, cause we're blowing up now. I ain't never slowing down, keep on going till I'm down. No, I'm never slowing down, cause we're blowing up. Hard words like a weapon, attack with no questions. In my own section and they still disconnected, cause their mind's been infected and they're filled with objection. Too filled for recollection, so we're losing all attention. They don't know I'm in contention, cause I'm gaining their attention, cause I'm making a connection. Lyricism and aggression got me feeling my ascension. In my passion, my profession, I'm attacking my obsession, taking action and progression. I go off on the enemy, that's what makes them scared of me. Make my plans carefully, then execute them daringly. They say I act recklessly, but that's why I'm effective. See, you can't predict my tendencies, I offer no transparency. So people think I'm lost, I'm just gonna be a legend. I'm never gonna stop till I'm one above second. And my thoughts at the top, but my mind stay present. Don't let your dreams stop, cause dreaming is a blessing. All the same, told me I won't make a name, but it's not about the fame, it's about same stuff. You really think you're different, man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible, it's not probable, you're irresponsible. Too many obstacles, you gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow, you can't be a pro, don't waste your time no more. Who the fuck are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a damn if you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move, I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna fucking do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions, they blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen, that shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're driven.
There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Aren't you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Aren't you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back?
No, they don't give a damn, you got what I'm saying? I'm not fucking playing, I'll give it to you straight, man. There's too many others and you're not that great, man. Stop what you're saying, stop what you're making. Everybody here knows that you just faking. Nah, I don't wanna hear it anymore, I don't wanna hear it anymore. All these fucking thoughts, they are not what I need anymore. I'm about to shut the motherfucking door on all you poor ass haters with your heads in the clouds. Talking out loud so proud, you better shut your goddamn mouth before I do more speak out. It's about to head south.
Never gonna make it. There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it. Aren't you just gonna take that? Make them take it all back. Don't tell me you believe that. Aren't you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back?
Favoritnya masih ada nggak sih bang? Udah mati bang.
Yeah, I spit raps like a heart attack, fast fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions back, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse, I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now. I'm gonna make you bleed out, listen on repeat now and weed out all the weak now. Get up and make a change, don't remember yesterday. If you got something to say, speak your mind before your grave, cause your life is yours to save. Ain't nobody gonna change.
Berarti lu main sendiri aja sekarang bang?
So be different, make a name, huh?
Iya. Member Avality-nya udah pada mencar.
Ridiculous, I'm spitting this meticulous and limitless, while others out there spitting shit got hits up on the charts. It's it. I see why other artists quit, cause people don't reward good shit. They love to hate but hate to live. Society you swing and miss, and honestly I get it. Promise me you won't regret it. Wasting energy, forget it. Don't look back, go on and get it. Bite the bullet just a bit, bite your tongue and don't say shit. Make your actions hard to miss, be a legend not a myth. Yeah. It's obnoxious that I'm conscious, rapping honest as promise. Try to harness, as an artist stay modest. It's a long quest, I will not quit till 10,000 people going off. When I drop this, I gotta make it now. Swear to God I'm breaking out, swear to God I'll think about center stage with the crowd, cause I got it figured out. I'm just honest and I'm loud, say I'm modest but I'm proud. No, I never had a doubt, yeah.
I keep on moving forward, always getting closer, marching till it's over, and just like a soldier, I keep on moving forward, always getting closer, I'm marching till it's over, just like a soldier, I keep on moving forward, always getting closer, marching till it's over, just like a soldier, I keep on moving forward, always getting closer, marching till it's over, and just like a soldier, I keep on moving forward, always getting closer, I'm marching till it's over, and just like a soldier, I keep on moving forward, always getting closer, I'm marching till it's over.
I don't get what I want, I get what I need. Every single day I'm heading off to my dream, and I get everything that I damn well please. I don't give a damn if you all listening to me, cause I run it. I'm the only one that really want it, I'm the only one that's really on it. I'm just being honest, I'm just doing everything I promise, cause I want it bad enough that I'ma make it as an artist. And I know I'm not the smartest, and I know I'm not the largest, but I promise you that I'ma be the one that works the hardest. Cause I promise you that I'm just getting started, and I promise you that my skills are getting sharper. So I'ma get started, can't be guarded. Nah, I'm the one to get retarded.
Pamit ya bang, oke.
Get the party started, yeah,
Siap, selamat malam.
got me fucked up. I don't know what's up. Pour that shit in my cup. We about to turn up. Crank this shit up so loud. Sounds like we're sold out in front of the whole crowd. We lose control now. Don't take this shit too personally. Everybody got a different version of me. Everybody gotta be learning from me. Everybody wanna be working with me, and I feel like there's uncertainty and urgency to find out what you wanna be. But honestly, we can't last constantly, so stop and breathe and find out who you wanna be.
searching, find your true passion and get to work. And better take action or you end up serving. Yeah, that's a fact. So you better clean up, no back. So you better raise up the sack. And tell the world they can suck on that. Don't come back, pack your bags, you take your trip and don't relax. You hit the switch and just attack. You find your niche and make some racks. Don't hold back. Everybody wake up, it's time to break up with the life you made up. It's time to trade up, live the life you want now. A life you don't doubt, I can give a fuck now. Just get your grit out, wake up, man, this life is a blur. Everyone's got an opinion, so which one you prefer? Cause I'll give you one that's coming from an entrepreneur. Don't give up on your dream, it is what you deserve. Cause I will not quit, no, because I want this. Don't try to stop me, failure ain't an option. So I be cautious, I hope that you're watching. Don't try to stop this, work until I'm nauseous. Cause I will not quit, no, because I want this. Don't try to stop me. Gotta put the work in like you're obsessed. Think about what you want, what's your future? What kind of person would it take to seduce her? So what's next? Be obsessed with winning and your success. Make progress, this life is never promised. So feel blessed and right, don't be too cautious. Trust the process. In too deep, I never could. I wanna see this through your eyes. Be a warrior, you can't stop
digesting everything that's going on, second guessing if this world is a place worth saving. I feel lost in this world as of lately. Give me a sign, will everything be alright? I need a sign, cause I don't wanna waste my time. I wish I knew if all of my dreams would come true. I wanna be free, I gotta find a way to believe. All I know is that if I give up then it's over, but if I keep going every day's a bit closer. Highs and the lows feels like a roller coaster, it's never over. I gotta find a way to get inspired in this life. Stop looking out and start looking inside. Find what I love and take a little pride. Anything is better than complaining about life. I don't need help, I can do it by myself. No pain, no gain, I will go through hell. Do what it takes, I will break out of my shell. I'm never coming back, once I'm gone I'm out. Yeah, got me like ooh. Watch me on the screen, you gon' see me making moves. You gon' see me scheme like I got something to prove. Working like a fiend, yeah, I do just what I do. Got a purpose, got a view, turn my vision into truth. My dreams are becoming lucid. The more I work improving, the more I fight, keep moving. I am not losing, that keeps me refusing. I will be better real soon, yeah. Real soon, yeah. Give me a sign, will everything be alright? I need a sign, cause I don't wanna waste my time. I wish I knew if all of my dreams would come true. I wanna be free, I gotta find a way to believe. Gotta believe, I will make it happen one day. You will see my face in my name. Came to this place to be great. Okay, okay, I will make it happen one day. You will see my face in my name. Came to this place to be great. Okay, okay. I was born to be a fighter, had these dreams and desires. I would be something better, energy, got a fire in my soul to keep burning, a pain that keep hurting, a curse is emerging, feel the thirst, keep on working, I won't stop, I won't quit, to the top of this shit, I get lost in the work, sweat dripping, not a bitch, I get mad, I get pissed, I get after the shit, hit the gas, feel the grip, adrenaline, never miss, I'm not patient, but I've learned to embrace it, cause I've been working, I've been waiting, never complacent, cause I'm so close I can taste it, want it away from everything I've been chasing. I'm honest and I promise that I got this. I'm launching, all I've wanted has been exhausting. I'll teach you how to harness, control the conscious. You got this, yeah you got this, you gotta want it. Life ain't fair, are you gonna win or will the play scared? I will not stop, I will prepare to get to the top, then it must be rare. Got 'em like hey, I will not stop, I am prepared to get to the top, then it must be rare. You got one shot, life ain't fair. Are you gonna win or is it play scared? I will not stop, I am prepared to get to the top, then it must be rare. Got 'em like hey, I will not stop, I am prepared to get to the top, then it must be rare. Yeah, watch out, I'm fighting hard for the crown. Yeah, no doubt I'll be the best pound for pound. I'm obsessed with winning, this is my house, so watch out. I'm coming to the top, but yeah, I'm addicted to winning. If that's the sin I've been sinning, I'm disciplined when I'm in it. And this is just the beginning, the money, yeah, I'll be printing while helping others make millions. Yeah, I'm not selfish, no villain, but still I'm making a killing. I'm here for greatness, you can't lock me into cages. Deserve to be on stages, I will be the greatest. Do it yourself, I made it. Yeah, I rock from the basement. I'll take my life into my own hands, my own plan. Yeah, I got a backbone, designing my own program. I'll head to the next wave with the bravest, so don't be late. I'm about to make changes. addicted to being savage. My life is a little graphic, like HBO making magic. I'm rapping to make that passive money coming from traffic. Doing mental gymnastics, I'm fluid and problematic. You losing if you look at me the wrong way. I've come a long way from sipping on Bombay. It's 1942 now, in this loud mouth, sipping hard in the back of a booth, sold out. I can never get enough. Success is like a drug. The money come in, but then I want more stuff. So I gotta work hard, play harder, gotta work smarter. Time is money, and money is harder. So I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I was born in this world, I swear, to make a difference. If you need a mentor, I got something for you, kid. Just watch the way I move and try your best to copy it.
Yes.
Gives you a chance for greatness, and you can waste it, or you can take it. Take control of your fate and chase it. I've been running towards dreams since I was just a kid. I've been held down, held back, hated. I've been pissed off, mad, frustrated. I've been loved, admired, and finally made it to the other side where I realized something sacred. It's not about what anyone else thinks of me. It's all about how I live, what's my legacy. Am I happy? Did I give fucking everything, or did I hold back, scared of all the uncertainty? I think differently, that's why I'm different, see? That's what happens when you take control of destiny. I have dignity, my pride it lives in me. And now it's time to teach others how to win with me. I move like an athlete pro. I party like a rock star show. I live every day like my last never know. I run it like a CEO. I move like an athlete pro. I party like a rock star show. I live every day like my last never know. I run it like a CEO. I move like an athlete pro. I party like a rock star show. I live every day like my last never know. I run it like a CEO. I move like an athlete pro. I party like a rock star show. I live every day like my last never know. You gotta take control. Life's too short. Get out of your head, make a better life instead. You gotta give it all your best. So put your hands up to the sky and live your best life, alright. Don't just let it go by, just try, oh my. Got only one life, got only this time. We gonna get it right. You gotta let go of those who don't belong in your tribe. So cut the bad out of your life. Yeah, do it one time. You gotta work till you're winning. Yeah, take control of the system. When you invest, it's addicting. No time to rest, let's go get it. Not gonna stop till I'm finished. Not gonna drop to my limits. Deep in my chest, I'm inhaling. Believe in testing and failing. You gotta flip everything in your mind. Take the limited thoughts and turn them into your why. Prove to yourself you're worth it. You deserve it. Push past all the hurt and find your purpose. You gotta take control. Life's too short. Get out of your head. Make a better life instead. You gotta give it all your best. So don't let go. Take control. Get out of your head. Make a better life instead. You gotta give it all your best. Give it all your best.
25.
Time to go fast, know that energy is all cash. You can get it all if you never give up, no slack. Headed to the top is a mystery, your own path. Never gonna stop, no, you got this, never go back. I know it gets hard, you gotta love it. You gotta recharge with what you want and think of your dreams, get that energy to go and get everything. You gotta take control, life's too short. Get out of your head, make a better life instead. You gotta give it all your best, so don't let go. Take control, get out of your head, make a better life instead. You gotta give it all your best, give it all your best. I like to get paid, that's why I work every day. I'll be making money till I'm in my grave, don't care what they say. I'll buy time with my money, left to the bank cause it's funny. The money keep coming, I manifest it. Sing these lyrics and you'll get it. I'm the bank, come invest it. I attract and I have it, money finds me attractive. I'm the type to make commas, turn a profit. I'm the boss, really want good but it ain't chocolate. Yeah, I'm just being
Kamu tidak grinding apa?
for this shit. I'm usually modest, but the speed lit, so I'm going off thoughtless, talking my shit. Yeah, I'ma be the hottest designer in drip.
Serap 217 beli. Wih, dikit lagi bang. Dikit lagi bang, 1T bang.
Work, yeah, do it till it hurts. I'll invest in my future, I'll invest in the purse. I wanna be so rich, life changes, and I don't ever think about how much I just pay it. Yeah, it's a dream, the American dream. Live on top, don't stop till you got everything. But there's balance, cause this life is a challenge. You gotta live in the now while building up the talent. Make commas, turn a profit. I'm the boss,
Mantap bang, sambil grinding bang.
I'm just being honest, I work for this shit. I'm usually modest, but the speed lit, so I'm going.
Aku juga mau grinding lagi nih ke tunggrap. Udah stongkrat baru ke daksik. Tunggrap gaming.
Yep, been there, yep, done that. 10 long years of breaking my back, but now I'm up here, never looking back. I got more dreams that I wanna go attack. Keep on going, keep on moving, never give up. I'll keep going, I can prove just what I'm made of. I got that fire in me, got that desire in me. I'm never tired, I'll be pushing till I'm finally free. I was made to break away from the pack, to challenge, to fight, and to carve my own path. This world wasn't made for the weak, they don't last. Survival of the fittest, so be vicious and attack. I'm the type to make commas, turn a profit. I'm the boss, really want good, but it ain't chocolate. Yeah, I'm just being honest, I work for this shit. I'm usually modest, but the speed lit, so I'm going off thoughtless, talking my shit. Yeah, I'ma be the hottest designer in drip. I'm just coming with the rawness. I gotta admit that I'm usually modest, but I work hard for my shit. Will today be rough or will today be great? 9, 10, 11, 12. Lately I've been going through hell. 13, 14, 15, 16. Today's the day. Are you coming? Are you sick of being normal? I'm sick of being average. I'm sick of being mortal. I'm about to be a savage. I see a lot of things that I want, I will have them. I got a new mindset that I just established. I'll march through the cold with the nails on the pavement. I'll shovel that cold just to get out the basement. My story will be told, helping others just wanna be greatness. I could feel changes, turn a new page and tie up my laces. I will be the bravest, break out of my cages. I will not be nameless, I will not be aimless. Bad things happen to good people. None of us were ever really born equal. Only one life, there ain't no sequel. Some people live, others stay fearful. This world ain't never been peaceful. You got good, always butting heads against evil. The good try to be fair, but the bad lethal. They gon' fight dirty, every single one deceitful. Stand up, I wanna see your face. Get your chin up like you belong in this place. We gon' train like you've never trained before. You're going up against something that you can't ignore. This ain't a game, it's your life that we're playing with. There ain't no reset button or an off switch. You gotta face your fears, you gotta scratch the itch. You gotta break through the walls and get after it. Only time will tell who's gonna make it. I promise you, I'ma be the one who's gonna take it. I fight, I provide, leaving blood on the pavement. If you're up against me, then you better be praying. Cause I'll keep punching till my knuckles start breaking. I'll keep going through the blood that I'm tasting. I won't stop till they've all seen greatness. The battle for my world just started, I've been waiting. Villains and heroes, only time will tell who will win and who will lose. Put yourself on the line.
Udah bangun Bangki?
My hands stable, I feel able to turn the tables. I can do this. Just keep moving, keep your hands up, stupid. I feel lucid, a new viewing. I can see the end, I can see my future, I can view it. It's right there for the taking. Everything I've ever wanted, dreams are just waiting. I just gotta fight for it, willing to die for it, willing to like soreness. I just need to hide for it. To be the greatest I could be. Watch out, I'm here now. Big mood, no doubt. Big moves, big mouth. Hit hard, knockout. I come from a different pedigree. Destiny don't mean anything. I make everything in my life come to life. Manifest, see the light.
Yeah.
My God, this is how I have survived.
Good luck. TW Jakarta. Tumben. Kerjaan apaan?
Got a monster inside of me. You better watch out if your enemy's a road ahead.
Wow.
Prophecy to be the greatest beast the world has ever seen. I feed him every day like the bones clean. I feed him all the hate and he throws me and he gets fluffy or big pissed off.
Bangun Bi.
Cross him, you might drop dead. Metaphorically, of course, settling the sword. Never getting bored. Loves the blood and gold. Always wanting more freedom from the source. They don't really understand until they feel it. Forced apart it. If you start shit, you'll be heartless in the darkness. Torn apart quick, you let scars break to be chewed up and discarded. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protected.
And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. When there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate. And this world ain't right, won't accept it. Negative energy, I expect it. Once it's in your mind, it's infectious. So fight for your life and reject it. You better give me space, I'm protective. My adrenaline spikes when I'm threatened. And if you stay in my way, I'm aggressive. Cause when there's no exit, I'll kill when I'm desperate.
Speculating and theory crafting about upcoming Pokemon content is always fun, but it's really hard to actually evaluate how good a Pokemon will be without trying it out yourself. In many cases, our expectations are completely shattered as soon as these Pokemon are actually available to use. Or it just takes a while for us to realize how good or bad they truly are. I Am Crown is an example of a Pokemon that almost everyone thought would be average and competitive, and it has surprised us all with its solid usage and relevance in overused. While Pechirut was unpopular at first, it has also risen over time and proven to be a good competitive Pokemon. And I'm sure it took many players by surprise when Alamomola returned to the game and became a new competitive superstar in Gen 9, far better than it's ever been before. The opposite thing happens all the time too. Pokemon that look like they're going to be amazing in theory, but in practice they don't live up to that hype. It's always fun to make predictions like this, but time and time again it's been shown that we really don't know how good something is going to be until it's in our hands. Let's take a look at some Pokemon that we completely missed the mark on. Pokemon we thought would be amazing, but actually weren't. The greatest example of this in Generation 9, the biggest disparity between expectation and reality, was with Pawmot, the new Pikachu clone of Generation 9. And it was all because of this move right here, Revival Blessing. We had never seen a mechanic like this before, and the idea of a revival move coming to Pokemon sounded broken. This move works very similar to the revive item in the single player games. You just revive a fainted Pokemon and they recover half of their HP upon doing so. The move only has a single PP, but you can restore PP with Leper Berry to be able to use it twice. Pawmot has a Revival Blessing, as does the Pokemon Ravisca. But out of these two Pokemon, Pawmot is the one that seemed better. It's a decent-ish Pokemon with just above base 100 speed, a pretty good attack stat, average bulk, but electric fighting typing and good offensive options. Plus access to this move, Revival Blessing, for the utility of bringing an ally back to life. Maybe it's a powerful Choice Scarf Pokemon, or your Rain Swift Swim threat, or a Weather Setter. Your Weather Setter got eliminated, you can bring it back to life. Maybe it's a defensive wall that you need to win the game. Whatever it may be, you can resurrect an ally. It sounds broken, but in actuality it wasn't. And Pawmot is ranked in the PU tier, which is almost as low as you can get. What we thought would be a good Pokemon in competitive ended up absolutely flopping. Revival Blessing in practice is kind of just too slow. And Pawmot is frail. It doesn't have the free turns or the bulk to be able to sit there and flick a utility move like this all the time. Reviving an ally to 50% of his HP often doesn't feel like enough either. They're back to life, but it's hard to get them back on the field. They only have a small amount of HP to take an incoming hit. So it's a lot of work to bring Pawmot in and actually click Revival Blessing, and then once you do, is the reward even worth all that effort? Often it isn't. And the opportunity cost of running a Leper Berry to get a second revive in the mix feels like a waste too. You could be using this on an offensive item, or any other item, whatever item you want. A Leper Berry is a complete waste. Turns out the Revival Blessing having only one PP was a significant restriction, and this absolutely did not live up to the hype. I must admit that I also thought this would be broken, but once we actually got it, once we got to play with this, we realized very quickly that no, this isn't that powerful. In fact, it's quite bad, and it's not a very good strategy at all. Now maybe if Revival Blessing was on a different Pokemon, like something bulky such as Blissey, or I don't know why Gliscor would get it flavor-wise, but if Gliscor got it, that could be okay. Pawmot is not the best user of it. In theory, the move could be good, but I don't know, 1 PP is very limited. I actually think other utility moves on Blissey are probably more worthwhile. I think if Blissey could choose between getting Toxic or Revival Blessing, it wouldn't be an obvious choice. Toxic might be the better option there. Another Pokemon that many misjudged, or at least I misjudged, was Cleavor, an all-new branching evolution of Scyther from the Pokemon Legends Arceus game that became available with the Pokemon Home update that brought all the Hisuian Pokemon to Gen 9. And Cleavor, once we got all the data for this and we figured out how it works, was kind of making my eyeballs pop out of my head like a cartoon character when I saw the move Stone Axe. This move is kind of crazy. It can set Stealth Rock on the field when it hits you, and it's a pretty good rock type attack on top of that, and it gets boosted in power by the ability Sharpness that Cleavor has. Cleavor has a pretty good dual offensive typing with Bug and Rock Stab at its disposal, good physical move pool with close combat as coverage, and even Swords Dance to boost up. Plus, a really good attack stat of 135. All of this just sounded amazing. This could be a new aggro Stealth Rock setting lead that can hit you while setting Stealth Rock. Stealth Rock on its own has been an elite level move in competitive singles for years and years and years, so this just sounded really, really broken. But I think many of us got lost in the idea of how Stone Axe sounded, and then when Cleavor finally arrived, it turned out actually this Pokemon has a lot of struggles, especially in Gen 9 OU. It is very slow and frail for the format. With only 85 speed, it just doesn't cut it in modern times, and terrible defensive stats. Bug Rock typing is not doing you many favors either defensively, as you have a lot of weaknesses to common things. You can lead with this with a Focus Sash on, and that's pretty good, but is Stone Axe even that fantastic of a turn 1 click? Many things can make rocks on turn 1 that are faster and have better tools for the metagame. Cleavor can attack while making rocks, but how impactful is that really into common Pokemon such as Great Tusk, who outspeeds you, Iron Treads, who resists the move and hits you with super effective steel damage, or rapid spins you. King Gambit is giving you problems. You have super effective coverage to hit these Pokemon sometimes, but you often aren't winning the 1v1. Rocky Helmet is giving you issues, and making Stealth Rock isn't as impactful as it used to be with heavy duty boots in the game and most rock weak Pokemon running heavy duty boots. Now Stealth Rock is still used in competitive, it's not useless, but these all-in hazard setting leads that try to set Stealth Rock at all costs are not as good as they used to be, because you'd rather have Stealth Rock on a Pokemon that can stick around and set it multiple times throughout the game and do other things throughout the game, like wall enemies, you know, Tinglu for example, Wisefall for example. These Pokemon have defensive value that Cleavor doesn't. Cleavor will often just die quickly. It gets to make rocks, and then that is just not worth the cost of putting a Cleavor on your team. It's not doing much else aside from that, and it was a disappointing Pokemon overall. It ended up ranked in RU, where that's probably about where it belongs. That sort of average level of fellow. So forgive me for misjudging Cleavor. I feel like a fool for that one. Stone Axe sounded great, but in actuality, it wasn't the best. Up next is Hisuian Goodra, a Pokemon that I thought would be amazing. It looked promising for sure. Steel Dragon is a great type combo. It's definitely a step up from the original Goodra's Mono Dragon typing. It also has a Snail Shell, which I think is very cool, if nothing else. The stats are pretty great on this, especially that special defense stat, and everything else is quite well balanced. Low speed, but that's okay on a defensive Pokemon. The move pool's interesting. It got knockoff in DLC, didn't start with that, but beyond that it has a lot of different coverage options. Great stab. It's got the Acid Armor Body Press combo if you want to try that. It has Dragon Tail to phase things out. It's a pretty well suited Assault Vest Pokemon because it gets so much out of that special defense bonus with its incredible base stats, and it can strike back against a lot of things such as Fairy types and various other special threats. Probably pretty nice into Darkrai. This is definitely a Pokemon that you can understand why it would be overhyped at first. It looks good. It looks like everything about it sounds pretty good, but in practice it does have a poor matchup into common Pokemon like Great Tusk, Landorus Theory, etc. It's not really trying to wall those, but the problem is that when you actually are walling something, are you even getting much progress out of it? Hisuian Goodra has a bit of full move slot syndrome. It has a lot of coverage, but it can't pick everything. Knockoff is good, but that's probably the best you're going to do. You like good healing, and compared to other Assault Vest Pokemon, you like pivoting, which is a big one. Primarina and Iron Crown can pivot out, and they also feel more useful overall in the format, providing more to teams. Hisuian Goodra is unfortunately lagging behind at a snail's pace compared to the competition. It's still not the most unviable thing on the planet or anything. You could probably use this in OU in some contexts. It's ranked in the RU tier, which sounds about right. In OU, it does stand out from other defensive Pokemon with its typing and its unique options, but overall struggles to keep up with the pace. A snail's pace is just not good enough in the modern world. You have to go at a faster pace. Maybe a horse's pace, for example. A snail is too slow. Quaquaval is the water-type starter Pokemon of Gen 9, and one that many thought would be a new competitive mainstay. To be fair to Quaquaval, at first, this Pokemon was fairly popular. I don't know if that was just new toy syndrome or if it was genuinely that good back then, and it's the shifting meta that's the problem, but Quaquaval was alright initially. Water fighting is a good defensive type, and offensive. Back then, Chien Pao and Chi-Yu were in the format, and having resistances to all their stabs was useful. You couldn't quite wall them hard with this Pokemon. It's not a defensive wall, but just those resistances were always good. And the design of this Pokemon has promise. It has the ability Moxie, which of course grants an attack bonus if you KO another Pokemon with an attack. You have a pretty good attack stat to pose a threat with all of your physical coverage. You have close combat for stab, and this is the real kicker. The move Aqua Step, the signature move of Quaquaval, which is what made it sound so amazing in the first place when people were first speculating about it. And this is an outstanding move. An 80 power physical water type attack that always gives you a speed boost when you use it. This paired with Moxie is an incredible combo because you can attack something, KO it if it's super effective or you're just doing enough damage, and then you get a speed boost and an attack boost in one. So allows Quackleval to ramp up very quickly and act as a pretty nice win condition. Quackleval even has knockoff for coverage and Ice Spinner, which is really good. It even has Rapid Spin randomly for some utility. You want to get rid of hazards with this. It's a promising sounding Pokemon. Fortunately, the stats are not that fantastic by modern Gen 9 standards. Even still, it did have a lot going for it for quite a while, but the new addition of Pokemon like Alomomola and especially Pokemon Wellspring to the format have really put a halt to Quackleval's dance. Also, those Pokemon that made Quackleval's resistances more useful, such as Chiyu and Chimpao, are now banned from the format. The typing still has other applications, but it's not quite as useful as it was in that initial early Gen 9 metagame. Perhaps the tides have shifted in a way that aren't favorable to this particular duck. And honestly, there are other similar ramping threats that can just apply more immediate pressure more consistently, especially the booster energy Pokemon, you know, a booster energy Roaring Moon or something like that is going to be a more effective boost sweeper. Even a Dragonite just clicking Dragon Dance is similarly threatening, but is just more useful defensively because it has that multi-scale. It even has priority and better coverage probably, and a better ability. The Quackleval is suffering from metagame shifts. It also has a lot of competition in the role of physical sweeper that wants to ramp up and stuff. I was pretty surprised initially to see this drop out of OU, but it does make sense that this has fallen to the wayside in favor of a metagame that is a bit hostile towards it. Many of us had high hopes for Ursaluna when we first saw it, and to its credit, this Pokemon was very popular when it first came out. But that turned out to be a bit of new toy syndrome, didn't it? Ursaluna is a textbook overhyped Pokemon. I mean, it looks outstanding in every regard. It's a ground normal type with the ability Guts, great offensive ability, granting bonus attack if you are statused, and ignoring the burn halving physical damage effect. Its stats are through the roof. This is what made it look so fantastic. It is 140 base attack, unbelievable physical bulk, incredible HP, and Guts boosted Facade with Stab on top is one of the hardest hitting moves in Generation 9 OU. The issue with this, it's pretty simple. It's kind of slow with only base 50. Doesn't have any priority to make up for that, and can't do much but hit hard. It doesn't have extra utility like Great Tusk or Iron Treads do. It doesn't have priority like King Gambit does. There are, unfortunately,
Thank you very much, everybody. Well, thank you very, very much. Vice President Vance, Speaker Johnson, Senator Thune, Chief Justice Roberts, Justices of the United States Supreme Court, President Clinton, President Bush, President Obama, President Biden, Vice President Harris, and my fellow citizens. The golden age of America begins right now. From this day forward, our country will flourish and be respected again all over the world. We will be the envy of every nation, and we will not allow ourselves to be taken advantage of any longer. During every single day of the Trump administration, I will very simply put America first. Our sovereignty will be reclaimed. Our safety will be restored. The scales of justice will be rebalanced. The vicious, violent, and unfair weaponization of the Justice Department and our government will end. And our top priority will be to create a nation that is proud, prosperous, and free. America will soon be greater, stronger, and far more exceptional than ever before. I return to the presidency confident and optimistic that we are at the start of a thrilling new era of national success. A tide of change is sweeping the country, sunlight is pouring over the entire world, and America has the chance to seize this opportunity like never before. But first, we must be honest about the challenges we face. While they are plentiful, they will be annihilated by this great momentum that the world is now witnessing in the United States of America. As we gather today, our government confronts a crisis of trust. For many years, a radical and corrupt establishment has extracted power and wealth from our citizens while the pillars of our society lay broken and seemingly in complete disrepair. We now have a government that cannot manage even a simple crisis at home, while at the same time stumbling into a continuing catalog of catastrophic events abroad. It fails to protect our magnificent, law-abiding American citizens, but provides sanctuary and protection for dangerous criminals, many from prisons and mental institutions that have illegally entered our country from all over the world. We have a government that has given unlimited funding to the defense of foreign borders, but refuses to defend American borders or, more importantly, its own people. Our country can no longer deliver basic services in times of emergency, as recently shown by the wonderful people of North Carolina, been treated so badly. And other states who are still suffering from a hurricane that took place many months ago. Or more recently, Los Angeles, where we're watching fires still tragically burn from weeks ago without even a token of defense. They're raging through the houses and communities, even affecting some of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals in our country, some of whom are sitting here right now. They don't have a home any longer. That's interesting. But we can't let this happen. Everyone is unable to do anything about it. That's going to change. We have a public health system that does not deliver in times of disaster, yet more money is spent on it than any country anywhere in the world. And we have an education system that teaches our children to be ashamed of themselves in many cases, to hate our country despite the love that we try so desperately to provide to them. All of this will change starting today, and it will change very quickly. My recent election is a mandate to completely and totally reverse a horrible betrayal and all of these many betrayals that have taken place, and to give the people back their faith, their wealth, their democracy, and indeed their freedom. From this moment on, America's decline is over. Our liberties and our nation's glorious destiny will no longer be denied, and we will immediately restore the integrity, competency, and loyalty of America's government. Over the past 8 years, I have been tested and challenged more than any president in our 250-year history, and I've learned a lot along the way. The journey to reclaim our republic has not been an easy one, that I can tell you. Those who wish to stop our cause have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life. Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. That is why each day under our administration of American patriots, we will be working to meet every crisis with dignity and power and strength. We will move with purpose and speed to bring back hope, prosperity, safety, and peace for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. For American citizens, January 20th, 2025 is Liberation Day. It is my hope that our recent presidential election will be remembered as the greatest and most consequential election in the history of our country. As our victory showed, the entire nation is rapidly unifying behind our agenda with dramatic increases in support from virtually every element of our society, young and old, men and women, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, urban, suburban, rural, and very importantly, we had a powerful win in all 7 swing states, and the popular vote, we won by millions of people. To the Black and Hispanic communities, I want to thank you for the tremendous outpouring of love and trust that you have shown me with your vote. We set records, and I will not forget it. I've heard your voices in the campaign, and I look forward to working with you in the years to come. Today is Martin Luther King Day, and his honor, this will be a great honor, but in his honor we will strive together to make his dream a reality. We will make his dream come true. Thank you. Thank you. National unity is now returning to America, and confidence and pride is soaring like never before. In everything we do, my administration will be inspired by a strong pursuit of excellence and unrelenting success. We will not forget our country, we will not forget our Constitution, and we will not forget our God. Can't do that. Today I will sign a series of historic executive orders. With these actions, we will begin the complete restoration of America and the revolution of common sense. It's all about common sense. First, I will declare a national emergency at our southern border. Illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came. We will reinstate my Remain in Mexico policy. I will end the practice of catch and release. And I will send troops to the southern border to repel the disastrous invasion of our country. Under the orders I signed today, we will also be designating the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. And by invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, I will direct our government to use the full and immense power of federal and state law enforcement to eliminate the presence of all foreign gangs and criminal networks, bringing devastating crime to U.S. soil, including our cities and inner cities. As Commander-in-Chief, I have no higher responsibility than to defend our country from threats and invasions, and that is exactly what I am going to do. We will do it at a level that nobody's ever seen before. Next, I will direct all members of my cabinet to marshal the vast powers at their disposal to defeat what was record inflation and rapidly bring down costs and prices. The inflation crisis was caused by massive overspending and escalating energy prices, and that is why today I will also declare a national energy emergency. We will drill, baby, drill. America will be a manufacturing nation once again, and we have something that no other manufacturing nation will ever have, the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we are going to use it. We will bring prices down, fill our strategic reserves up again, right to the top, and export American energy all over the world. We will be a rich nation again, and it is that liquid gold under our feet that will help to do it. With my actions today, we will end the Green New Deal, and we will revoke the electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto industry and keeping my sacred pledge to our great American auto workers. In other words, you'll be able to buy the car of your choice. We will build automobiles in America again at a rate that nobody could have dreamt possible just a few years ago. And thank you to the auto workers of our nation for your inspiring vote of confidence. We did tremendously with their vote. I will immediately begin the overhaul of our trade system to protect American workers and families. Instead of taxing our citizens to enrich other countries, we will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens. For this purpose, we are establishing the External Revenue Service to collect all tariffs, duties, and revenues. It will be massive amounts of money pouring into our treasury, coming from foreign sources. The American dream will soon be back and thriving like never before to restore competence and effectiveness to our federal government. My administration will establish the brand new Department of Government Efficiency. After years and years of illegal and unconstitutional federal efforts to restrict free expression, I will also sign an executive order to immediately stop all government censorship and bring back free speech to America. Never again will the immense power of the state be weaponized to persecute political opponents, something I know something about. We will not allow that to happen. It will not happen again. Under my leadership, we will restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law. And we are going to bring law and order back to our cities. This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based. As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. This week, I will reinstate any service members who were unjustly expelled from our military for objecting to the COVID vaccine mandate with full back pay. And I will sign an order to stop our warriors from being subjected to radical political theories and social experiments while on duty. It's going to end immediately. Our armed forces will be freed to focus on their sole mission, defeating America's enemies. Like in 2017, we will again build the strongest military the world has ever seen. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into.
Tahu lah, bodo amat.
My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker and unifier. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker and a unifier. I'm pleased to say that as of yesterday, one day before I assumed office, the hostages in the Middle East are coming back home to their families. Thank you. America will reclaim its rightful place as the greatest, most powerful, most respected nation on earth, inspiring the awe and admiration of the entire world. A short time from now, we are going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, and we will restore the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley, where it should be and where it belongs. President McKinley made our country very rich through tariffs and through talent.